Senator.
Maybe before the level comes on board, in fact, you are better. Mine,
assemblies have said no, we must account, we must go before the Senate. He's arguing that it will make him look bad if his assemblies and the Senate and the executive is not in the Senate. So those people understand. will start our meeting formally with a customary word of prayer. I would ask Senator kutoka Nandi atuombe.
Kwa sababu umeongea kwa Kiswahili, wacha nijaribu Kiswahili. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika taifa hii yetu. Twakuomba utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi hii yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen.
Thank you, Senator Chiwerge. Honorable members, we will adopt the agenda, and the agenda is meeting with the County Assembly of Baringo to consider the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of the County Assembly of Baringo for the financial year 2024-2025 and any other business. Could I get a proposer?
Chair, propose.
Thank you, Senator Sifuna. Seconded?
Chair, second.
Thank you, Senator Lelegwe. We will do a quick round of introduction, starting with members of the committee present. We could start with Tharakanithi.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Senator Mwenda Kataya, Tharakanithi, member of this committee.
Senator.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Kaporo Chemite. I'm the Senator Baringo.
Karibu, Senator.
Interrogate, Senator of the Republic of Kenya, representing the great people of Nandi County and a long-term member of this committee for the last 8 years.
Welcome. Thank you, Chair. My name is Lelegun Tumbisi, Senator for Samburu County, member of this committee.
Good morning, Chair, the team from Baringo. My name is Edwin Sifuna, Senator Nairobi. I'm a member of this committee. Welcome to Nairobi.
Honorable members, Karibuni. My name is Moses Otieno Kajuan, Senator from Homa Bay. I chair the committee. We are supported by a team of staff. Please go on record.
Good morning. My name is Crispus Timo, committee clerk.
Michelle Otomo, legal counsel.
Good morning.
Already and answered.
Good morning, Chair members. My name is John Mahinda, research.
Chairman, that's all. Senate Secretary.
Okay, Karibuni. OAG.
Good morning, Chair and members. I'm Rick Patrick, the liaison officer.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Lono Chen, Deputy Director, Audit from Nakuru Regional Office, Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and the honorable members. My name is Geoffrey Ironko, Deputy Director of Audit, Office of the Auditor General.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Evelyn Kauna, Director, Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and Committee. My name is Adam Bogori from Office of Auditor General.
Assumption.
Okay, Karibuni. National Treasury.
Good morning all. My name is Edith Kanata from the National Treasury.
Karibu, EACC.
Yes, good morning, Chair and members of this committee. Christine Will for EACC. Thank you.
Karibu. We should be having the control of budget and the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. I believe they'll be joining us in case they're not in the other subcommittee that is running. Did we invite the PAC of the County Assembly of Baringo, clerk?
Chairman, we send a letter to the clerk. We are hoping that he will transmit to them.
Okay, so the members of the Public Accounts Committee of Baringo County Assembly, is there anybody representing that committee?
Chair, we don't have any member. We didn't get an invitation for members of PAC. We got invitation for members of the Internal Audit Committee.
Okay, now that you have the mic, go on record and then let your delegation also go on record.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Vincent Kimboy, Speaker, Baringo County Assembly. I want to invite my colleagues to do self-introduction.
Proceed.
Good morning, Chair and honorable members. My name is Julius Kimutai Ngotie, MCA Ravine Ward, and also Vice Chair, Baringo County Assembly Service Board. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Winnie Temasa, the Clerk, Baringo County Assembly.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Commissioner Miriam Dani. I'm a member of the County Assembly Service Board.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Honorable Solomon Jimjor, member of the board. Morning, Chair. My name is Nehemiah Kande, Deputy Director of Finance. Good morning, Chair. My name is CP Alfred Kaitan, Director of Finance and Accounting Services. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Duncan Lagat, Principal Accountant. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Mary Kaitan, Board Secretariat.
Good morning, Chair. My name is CPA Caroline Koech, Internal Auditor.
Morning, Chair. My name is CPA Rebecca Chelanga. I'm the Chairperson, Audit Committee.
Is that it for the delegation?
Yes, that's all.
Fine. We'll proceed to the next order, which will be administration of oath. The Speaker and the Clerk of the Senate will guide.
I, Vincent Kibet Kimboy, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I, Winnie Chepkemwa Chemase, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
We'll proceed to table your management responses.
Thank you very much, Chair. I wish to table the following reports. Tabling of documents by County Assembly. Mr. Chairman, sir, I hereby table the following documents before the committee. Management responses and accompanying annexures for the County Assembly of Baringo for the following financial year 2024-2025.
Auditors from Baringo, are we ready?
Thank you, Chair. We are ready to proceed.
And Clerk of the Senate?
Yes, Chairman, we are ready to proceed.
Fine. Before we get into the substantive issues of Baringo, we have here auditors from the Nairobi region. We were expecting to have the Nairobi County Executive appearing before this committee at this very moment. Clerk, do we have any word from Nairobi?
Chairman, we don't have any communication from Nairobi County Executive.
Which other entities were supposed to have appeared before us today?
Chairman, there is Kisii, Nairobi County Executive. Sorry. Tana River County Assembly and Kisumu County Assembly. Then the other meetings that were also scheduled in the afternoon.
What were the afternoon meetings?
Kericho County Executive and Kajiado County Executive.
Do we have any word from any of these entities?
Yes, Chairman, we have communication from Kajiado County Executive and Kericho County Executive requesting for scheduling of those meetings.
What about the Kisumu, Tana River, Kisii?
Kisii, we also have a letter from Kisii. Kisii County Executive.
Tana River?
Tana River, let me just check, Chairman, for Tana River County Assembly.
So there are 3 letters from except Nairobi.
Yes,
So Nairobi is a no-show, no communication?
Yes, Chairman.
No correspondence?
No correspondence.
Now, under those circumstances, members, I think our automatic recourse is to issue summons to compel the governor of Nairobi to appear before this committee. I think it must go on record that this committee is sending out a reprimand to the governor of Nairobi. When we are allocating money, we don't allocate money to entities sitting at Delta House. We allocate money to an entity that is sitting at City Hall, and that is the governor of Nairobi. And so he should not use this excuse that there is a position taken by Council of Governors. That is a position that is unconstitutional. It is a position that the Senate, not once but twice, the Speaker of the Senate has written to governors and told them that they will be individually responsible and accountable for the use of resources that have been allocated to them. I wish, as the Senator Nairobi had told us earlier, the governor would have written to us saying that there were floods, so he's fixing the potholes or unclogging the drains. But for him just to be quiet and his office is just a walking distance from here, that is the highest level of contempt, it's the highest level of impunity. And members, we must collectively find a way of reining in on some of these governors. Because when they want money, they will come from Baringo, they will come from Wajir, they will come from all corners of the country to come and ask the Senate to fight for additional resources. But once they get the money, then they get too busy to account. So unless there is any further emphasis, Senator Nairobi? Yeah, Chair, let me just add to the disappointment. I will tell you a true story. Last evening, when I came back from Meru, I found businessmen who operate on Road C waiting for me in my house because their businesses are underwater. The whole of, not Road A, all of them are underwater. And the problem has always been that there is a dumping site just on the side of the river bordering Enterprise Road. There's continuous dumping of garbage. We have engaged with the Nairobi County to tell them to stop that dumping along the river, but it has never been done. You know, I gave those businessmen the assurance that, in fact, the governor is appearing today before my committee. We will raise those issues with him, even if it is as A or B, and they will be able to follow the conversation about what is being done to be able to salvage their businesses. So it becomes very difficult for us as a Senate to do our oversight work in the face of governors such as the one in Nairobi who refuse to show up, and they don't even say the reason. You know, just common courtesy would have demanded that he writes, even if he hid behind the floods that we saw over the weekend, that he's busy unclogging those drainages, then it would have made some level of sense. But to just not appear, not tell anyone, my office is not aware, he has not communicated to me, none of his staff. In fact, even yesterday I was speaking to the county secretary on phone when those businessmen were in my house. I put him on speaker so that he can explain to them what actions are being taken to be able to deal with the flooding on Road A. So when we are accused as a Senate of not being able to do our jobs, I mean, I get to a point where sometimes I'm so frustrated. I feel like, just like those businessmen came to my house, I should go to the governor's house. I wish I knew where he lives. Because if those conversations cannot be had in our committees or before the Senate, what are we supposed to do? And I'm hoping, Chair, I don't know, you know, because the public needs to know that it's not just lamentations. We have actually taken steps. We passed a motion as a Senate to amend the Powers and Privileges Act, to even give Parliament the ability to arrest these governors ourselves, because when we send the IG of police, we are given stories. We wanted to have our own cell there in Parliament. You know that bill actually passed. It is stuck somewhere in the National Assembly because even the people of Nairobi will be tired of me every time saying I am unable to access my governor. other than going to his house now, I don't know what options are remaining. Because the people deserve answers. The people deserve answers. These conversations are not, I don't know how I can describe it. They cannot be had informally. I mean, Speaker, the conversations that you want to have about Baringo are not private conversations. That's why we sit here in front of everyone with the media there. If we wanted, I could very well get your number and we can meet somewhere and have a chat. But that's not what the Constitution requires. It requires that these conversations happen formally. Your senator is here. He also wants to hear the answers, so that when he goes back home and people ask him questions, he can say, you saw what the Speaker said in Parliament. So it's very, very frustrating. And for me, Speaker, Chair, now it is becoming too much, because I think this is the third time that we're asking the governor to come and he has not shown up. I would strongly agree with your proposal going forward that we do a summons and have that conversation in this particular committee. I thank you.
Fine, so we must arrest this emerging culture of impunity in this country. It was unthinkable that one would be invited or summoned by Parliament and then you choose not to appear. It is unthinkable that the courts would summon you and you choose not to appear. There's an emerging culture of impunity which, if you don't deal with, this country will go to the dogs. And I'm seeing that even that kind of contempt is now extending to the judiciary. We have powers, and this committee will ensure that the respect for Parliament is restored. We have all the instruments. Let it not appear as if Senate is toothless. And again, members, as we have always been told, let us not lament. Our motion, we hope that tomorrow we'll move this motion so that institutions that refuse to respond to invitations by Parliament shall not get exchequer releases. That we are going to do this year. So, Speaker, you have done well to appear before us. If your governor continues to hide behind the peer pressure of the COG, then unfortunately, Baringo is not going to get money until the governor presents himself. And I hope you guys can put him under pressure. Because if you can travel to Nairobi to account for, is it 600 million? Why can't he come to Nairobi to account for close to 7 billion that he manages? So you have done the right thing, and in our motion, obviously you'll be excluded. The good thing is that now we have the County Assembly Fund. So that motion will only affect the portion that goes to the executive rather than what goes to the County Assembly.
So I can say something about Nairobi. It is quite unfortunate. You know, the last time I heard about the governor who was calling news gang at Citizen TV. And it looks like Nairobi is becoming a county of lamentation. And his major complaint is that Nairobi was built on the swamp. And he doesn't have an idea how to fix Nairobi. So if he cannot even fix drainage, how can he fix challenges facing Nairobi? And I think this behavior of Nairobi governor is very cantankerous, because on several occasions he has declined to appear, and when he appears he wants to lecture the committee as if he's more clever than all of us. So I think I want to call upon Senator Sifuna now that I think the only way we need to deal with him politically, and since you are expert in maandamano, you give us some people to do maandamano around City Hall. So maybe that's the only language he will understand. Because, Chair, it looks like governors are playing politics with most of these issues, and I want to agree that they should be aware that the summonses are almost criminal in nature, and they must appear in fullness of time. The issue of accountability is not negotiable. It's a constitutional obligation. And if governors, including Nairobi governor, don't want to be oversighted, then they should resign and go home. Even in our houses, our spouses oversight us. Where I come from, if you sell a cow in Chepteret livestock yard, or even in Samburu Marala livestock yard, you must tell your wife what you have done with the money. So why is it now hard to account for public money? So it is very embarrassing, Chair. I think as a house, that motion, we should also become innovative into the future. And I remember we had a conversation with Inspector General of Police. I think we need to still revisit that conversation so that every governor that fails to come I can assure you the not so good name of the police. If the police today arrest these corrupt governors and bring them before this committee, the rating of the police will go very up in this country. They will be the darling of the people because people are tired, paying taxes, but they don't see value for their money. And you know, personally, you saw how I took matters into my hands. You remember my governor has refused to appear before the committee. But I made sure when he appeared before the people in front of the president, he could not speak. Because in my culture, if you cannot account for your money, you don't have an authority to say, Bwana asifiwe, in anything that we do. So that is, if the governors want to play it rough, we are willing to play it rough. But the bottom line is the constitutional obligation. And to challenge EACC chair, now that they are part of us, why don't you just do your job? Just arrest these guys. You will have the support of Kenyans. And we have made serious recommendation, and I want to agree with Nairobi Senator, that we have made serious recommendation. Can we arrest even 5 of them? I am aware of a governor who just bought 3 flats in South Sea, and I've whispered to you, Chair, and he's building one along Parklands. And I want to thank God because where the floods are passing through in Parklands is near where he's building. So God is a God of miracles, and we need to thank him for that. Chair, on this issue, and finally, we need also to start a process of surcharging. You know, we have enormous powers. It cannot be that the Office of the Auditor General is here. They have spent resources to be here. Why don't we also, apart from summonses, Michelle, we need to surcharge this governor so that any stipend or any expenses that has been incurred by our stakeholders, they must reimburse them the way it happens in court. When the witnesses appear before court, they normally reimburse for their transport and other exigencies. So we must rethink beyond summonses, that as we even fine them 500,000, we also make them, we surcharge them for the Office of the Auditor General. Instead, they should be doing something for this country. And they are doing a good job. I saw their report on their bursary, Chair, in conclusion, and I'm happy and I hope we'll follow through. I saw this issue of capitation. So we need to allow OAG to do their job, but we need to give them the necessary support. And I want to thank the Baringo, led by the Speaker. I don't know whether he was appearing before us because he wants to be a member of Parliament of Baringo or not. He is making his name to be good, or he is following the Constitution. Maybe we'll say it later. Chair, I yield back.
Well, I believe the Speaker is just doing the right thing. His duty under the Constitution is to account for the 788 million as the chair of the County Assembly Service Board. That is the reason why he's here before us. So our direction is that we issue summons to compel the Governor of Nairobi to appear before this committee. And when we look at our deadline for reporting, there is no way you can say that you have done audit and that you're taking a report to the House when you have not dealt with Nairobi. There is no way. We can't be talking to Baringo, Wajir, and those counties, and Lamu and Tharaka Nithi, and not talk about Nairobi. So it will be we must compel the Governor of Nairobi to appear before this committee before 31st of March, even if it means asking the Inspector General of Police to bring him before this committee.
Chair, the 5 major counties like Kakamega, Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Turkana,
Nakuru.
I think Turkana appeared in Nakuru.
Yep.
You know, if you take the floor of the House, a report of Lamu and other these counties like Elgeyo Marakwet, and you reach the biggest counties, then it is unfair even to the country.
Okay, so I think we have dealt with that matter. So the auditors from Nairobi, maybe the question we should have asked is that, was there an engagement? Was there an indication that they are ready to appear?
Thank you, Chair. We received the responses on 25th of February 2026, but we have not had any engagements with the team. Thank you.
Okay, fine. So we shall deal with them when they appear before this committee. Now let's go to the main agenda, which is Baringo County Assembly. I think the auditors from Nairobi, if there's other business you need to attend to, you'll be free to leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Now, Baringo, we will prosecute very quickly because the auditor has already given us the issues that are dealt with, the issues that can be kept in view,
and the issues where we will be required to ask a few questions. Maybe the very first question that I want to ask you, Mr. Speaker, I'm seeing a little bit of an anomaly in the signing of these financial statements. Do you have a director accounting services?
We do have a director.
And that director is here?
Yes, he's here.
Where is the director accounting services?
Director.
Just again, your name?
My name is CP Alfred Keitan.
Why didn't you sign these financial statements? Or did you sign these financial statements?
Yes, I did sign the amended financial statements. The amended financial statements.
The signature that I see here, someone has signed for the Director Accounting Services.
Yes, Chair, it's true. The one which we submitted for the 31st June was signed by my Deputy Director.
Where were you then?
I was on leave, Chair.
Your Deputy Director is also a member of ISPAC?
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chair. We had reviewed with him, and then he signed it for me on my behalf. Thank you.
If he's a member of ISPAC and he has stamped here Deputy Director Accounting Services, why didn't they just use their professional number? Because there's a reason why the standards require you to put in an ISPAC number. That is for you to take personal professional responsibility. So if there is any problem in these financial statements, who should take professional responsibility? Is it you or the person who signed for you?
The person who signed for me.
So Meruka, you reporting?
But I have signed the amended one, which I think it is affected with this response.
What we are dealing with is what the auditor went through, not the amended one. So if there's a problem, who takes responsibility?
Since my membership number is in the amended the financial statement, I should take the responsibility, sir. Chair.
I think let's be careful about these things, and the reason why I'm asking this is sometimes you have a Director Accounting Services in name, then institutionally they have no power. There's a junior who's undermining them, who's signing financial statements, and yet they do not have the functional mandate to do so. I hope that is not the case in Baringo, Speaker.
That's not the case. We have the director and he's fully in control. And perhaps all the intention was that he was to sign the documents, only that he took leave on that day. And
that's the day he took leave.
But that's not, I mean at that time when you are supposed to sign the documents.
But of all the functions of a Director Accounting Services, this is one of those that is statutory. I wonder why you choose to delegate this one.
Director, Chair, maybe because I know it's something that was beyond him. He has a personal challenge, which somehow could not allow him to be in the office at that time.
Okay, so we'll, I think, take note and be aware that the Senate looks at some of these things, because sometimes it's indicative of a problem within the organization, where people have got titles, but they don't have any job to do, because the job has been taken away and given to somebody else.
Yeah, we have the director here, he can confirm if he has a problem. Perhaps he may be sharing us at the counter simply. It's also an opportunity for us to know if he has a problem with in his office.
No, we can't prosecute that here. You will call him before the County Assembly Service Board. Senator Gatai.
I was about to
get clarification from the director himself, but we have ruled it out that we are not going to get to that discussion. I thought maybe, can he confirm whether he's in trouble? Maybe the speaker is speaking for himself.
Chair, I want to confirm that I'm not in trouble. It's only that during that particular time I had a patient who happens to be my close family member who was being done operation by that time. So I was able to delegate the function to the deputy. However, we had reviewed the financial with him, and I have full responsibility about the documents and financial statements. Thank you.
Okay, members, we proceed.
A quick follow-up. OAG, did you see these amended financial statements? Because I have heard him saying this was the other financial statement. He went ahead to amend a financial statement. Is that the case?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, that's the case. They have filed it and is in the first after the response. It's in the.
So you reviewed also the amended one?
Yes.
Did it resolve some of the issues that have been raised in the audit query?
They have. It has resolved, but 1, 2 are still outstanding.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe when we go to the.
So let's go to the report, and it will be clear why you are asking this question. Auditor General, what was your opinion?
Thank you, Chair. Before it's the Auditor General's report for the Baringo County Assembly for the year 2025, 30th June. We had a total of 14 issues that were raised. 5 were on financial statements, 1 on other matters that relates to other previous year's issues, 5 were related to lawfulness, and 3 are related to internal control and governance. Out of our verification and their response they filed, 6 of the issues have been addressed, whereby 3 are under financial statement, 2 are partially addressed, and 6 of them have not been fully addressed.
Fine. So let's quickly highlight the ones that have been addressed. Non-compliance with transitional IPSAS reporting template.
Yes, Chair, that one is addressed.
And so you see, Speaker, Clerk, the reason why we are asking whether a qualified accountant was involved in preparation of these financial statements is that this is a very elementary mistake that a member of ISPAC is not expected to commit. And that's why we're asking who then takes professional responsibility, because in such cases we refer the accountants to ISPAC for disciplinary action. But assuming this was a small violation, let's go to the second one, non-disclosure of prior year balances.
Thank you, Chair. The issue is the statement of financial position reflect property, plant and equipment of 27 million as disclosed in note 13 to the financial statement. Review of the previous year 2023-2024 audited financial statement revealed non-assets balance of 374 million as disclosed in Annex 2 to the financial statement. However, the balance was not disclosed in the financial statement. In the circumstances, the figure on PPE could not be confirmed. Thank you.
County Assembly, what is your response?
Thank you, Chair. The management has taken note of auditor's recommendation. This being a transition period of reporting financial statements from cash basis to accrual basis of accounting, the management is in the process of identifying, valuing and depreciating its assets with a view to including them in the subsequent financial statements. Further, the management has provided a list of assets with a balance of Kenya shillings 374,446,294 as annexed in Annex 1.
Auditor, does that deal with the issue you raised?
Chair, this does not respond to the issue that we raised, because looking at the revised financial statement that they have provided have not included the opening balance of 374, And this was given clearly in the National Treasury Circular number 3 of 14th April 2024 that required all the entities to bring on board the opening balances from the previous year's financial accounts, which were done on cash basis, as the opening balances, which should have included the opening balances on assets, which was at Annex 2.
So this is also a basic thing in terms of accounting, that your closing balances must be carried forward as opening balances in subsequent years. So if you did not carry forward 374 million, the interpretation is that those assets are lost, isn't it?
Yes, Chair.
So this explanation does not deal with the gravity of the situation. Again, Director Accounting Services, why should you still be a member of ISPAC with these basic errors? Or is it an error, or did you just lose 374 million in terms of assets?
Chair, we did not lose 374 million. It's just an error of omission, Chair.
Yeah, but if you tell us you are still in the process of identifying and valuing assets, you are telling us that you don't know where those assets are. That's why they are not in your financial statements.
When we said identifying and valuing, it's for the sake of depreciation, but not identifying in terms of the assets. But we have the listing of assets as attached in Annex number 1.
So, OAG, how do we close this? They need to redo their financial statements?
Yes, Chair, they need to redo their financial statement because this figure is emanating from their financial statement, which they have been providing, and it was provided in the year 2024 as the value of the assets they own. What the National Treasury circular on accrual, transition to accrual, requires them now to value so that they are able to do, as the director puts it, on valuation. But the opening balance should be indicated in the financial statement.
So, Speaker, your officer has just told us that he signed the restated financials. Is there evidence that there's a note 13 that now captures the opening balances? I think you referred to a revised financial statement. Was this addressed in your revised financial statement? That is where the solution should be, isn't it?
Yes,
so,
Chair.
Has it been addressed in the revised financial statements?
No, Chair.
Why? AG, could it have been addressed in the revised financial statements?
Chair, the revised financial statement is with us here and it is not indicated.
So, did we lose 374 million in terms of assets if it's not carried in your revised financial statements? You see, this is a small accounting thing that might give the wrong message to the people of Baringo. You would have amended in your revised financial statements and it would have settled the matter. But if it is not, then tell us where 374 million went in terms of assets.
Chair, there is a list of assets that has been provided that totals to 374 million. Perhaps the problem is only the posting. I don't know what they normally do when doing the posting. I think that's what the problem is. But it's an accounting issue trying to know which one is carried forward, which one is brought forward for me, from where I'm seated. But we do have the assets and we have provided a list of all the assets.
But the Msemakweli is a financial statement. That's Msemakweli. Even you can't say, I know I've got some money in the bank, and yet it does not appear in your bank statement.
Director, do you have what's?
Maybe, Chair, we have taken note of your advisory with the committee, and I think we will do the necessary. Thank you.
No. That's not how we deal with things here. You have a written response here. You have said you have revised financial statements. We are not seeing those numbers. If we cannot confirm that the numbers in the financial statements will
we might as well conclude that you lost 374 million in terms of assets. It's not just saying you're going to do the necessary. You should have done the necessary when you're revising your financial statements. What is the problem? Is this director, this is why we put you on the spot, because these are things that you should be able to solve. Is there a problem?
Chair, why is the director so disconnected? It doesn't look like to have any grip on what is happening in the county assembly. Or are we just receiving duties?
No, Chair. I have understood the query, and we will amend the financials to insert the 374 million as our opening balance. So there is no assets which were lost.
Why were you revising your financial statements? I thought it was to deal with the issues raised by the Auditor General, isn't it?
Yes.
One of which was this. It was actually issue number 2. Senator Chiraki?
Chair, I'm just looking at the next one that the county assembly has provided, but it doesn't look like it is adding up to 374 million. So can he show us, because I've seen signed by Rispa Kiprop on 30th July 2025 and Dan Lagat, that is 29.8 million. So then this loose slip, they have signed there to be a total of 55.31 million. So looking at this, can you show us, Director, whether this money adds up to 374 million in terms of us? And then number 2, Speaker, I have seen you in 2016. How many gadgets does your MCS have? Because I can see in 2016 they had laptops and sorry, Chair, just I needed clarity. They had laptops and tablets in 2016. And also I can see in this new one, the new one you have just given them tablets again. So what happened to the first set of tablets? Does it mean they were disposed of or were sold off? What is the issue there? Because if you had tablets then in 2016 and now in there are new ones in 2019 of another tablets, and I've seen their laptops, tablets, of course, and for office furniture. Tell us the story there. I yield back, Chair.
Director, you can answer the first part.
The first part.
Let's Director start first.
Chair, the assets, the listing of assets actually sums up to 374. The one for 29,893 is for Annex 2, which is the next question. But Annex 1, there is assets from, there is an additional appendix for asset for 2021-2022. There is an asset for...
That is 100 million, this one.
That's...
The loose leaf is 100 million.
The loose leaf is 21-22, 53,311,195. And another one to 13 to 2019, 100 million, 455, 780 and 12 cents.
I'm looking at where you signed here.
Chair.
By Susan Yatik is 100 million.
Through the Chair, the first page, there's 2021-2022, there's a figure of 55 million,
correct,
311, and then on the last page of 100 million, 455, 780.
In this loose leaf, it is over 155 million.
Yes.
This next one,
Director, proceed.
The next one is 21-22. There is a figure of 57,493,144 shillings, followed by 1920, financial year 1920. There is a total of 16,770,283 and 96 cents, and 24-25. No, sorry. Yeah, I think that those Susan Yatich is our procurement officer.
Is she here?
No, she's not there.
Because, you know, he thinks that senators are busy. That's why he's throwing figures all over. Because the first page I have here, Chair, is signed by Susan Yatich, is 112 million. Then you go to asset register, you run through. The final there signed by Kitaria Kipto and Susan Yatich, 32 million. I'm still on Annex 1, and then on Annex 1, the next is 112 million. So why this unneatness?
Now, you see, the problem we have is that if those numbers are not in the financial statements, then we are dealing with rumors. Those numbers should be in the financial statement.
Yeah,
because right now we cannot be doing the audit now. We would deal with them if that number was a balance carried in the financial statements. Now, when you go through this also, I was asking myself, there are two things that a county assembly must capture as an asset. The residence of the speaker, if you have one, and the chamber. Definitely every assembly has a chamber. Is it captured here in this listing?
Yes, it's captured.
Where is it, and how much is it valued at?
This year financial 21-22, there is speaker's residence, Shannon Company Limited, 27 million. In addition, there is also a perimeter wall in the speaker's residence in financial year 22-23, totaling 9,274,000.
What about the chamber? Is it there? Because I've just seen Cabro Works, but not the chamber.
Chair, financial year 2021-2022 in the listing of assets, there is a chambers done by Swift Builders of 50 million.
So that's in
and also there's a 50 million, yes.
50 million?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, so I think we've established that you didn't do the right thing professionally from an accounting perspective to bring forward those balances. As to the question of whether the assets were lost, of course there's doubt, but we can give you that benefit of doubt because we can see a listing of the assets. I mean, I don't expect you to have sold the chamber or to have sold the speaker's residence or to have sold the Hansard system. So please just make sure you do the right accounting treatment of some of these assets so that we dispel that notion. Someone sitting somewhere reading this without the benefit of you appearing before them could conclude that you stole assets worth 374 million. That's why the right accounting treatment should be done. And really that should have been arrested when you did your revised financial statements. I don't know why you didn't deal with that. So, Auditor General, we can keep this in view just to make sure that even when they revise their financial statements, the balances carried forward can be supported by a schedule so that we know that they're real assets.
Thank you, Chair.
Of course, depreciation is going to kick in. I think that would be another issue that is coming up as inaccuracies in financial statements where you did not check depreciation, but we'll get to it.
Trade and other payables balances. Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. That is number 3 of our report. It states the statement of financial position reflects trade and other payable balance of 48,956,364 as disclosed in note 14 to the financial statement, which includes trade payable balance of 29 million. However, review of the supporting schedule revealed that the balance of 29,893,156 was misclassified as they relate to employee cost. Further, management did not provide invoices, delivery notes, creditors control ledger, and requisition files to support the balances. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of the trade and other payable balance of 29,893,156 as at 30th June could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
County Assembly.
Thank you, Chair. The management has noted the misclassified employee costs of Kenya shillings 29,893,156 and has amended the financial statements to correct the misclassification. Accordingly, the management has provided supporting schedules of Kenya shillings 29,893,156 and Kenya shillings 48,956,364 as per attached Annex 2.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Looking at the revised financial statement in note 14, under trade and payables, the misclassification was rectified. However, the trade payable now amounts to 19,062,207, while the employee payables is now 29 million. However, from the review, since the reclassification, the trade payables have not been supported.
The 19 million.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, Speaker, that was a specific query because the auditor said the invoices had not been provided.
Chair, I think also the OAG, should say trade payables means pending bills so that everybody in the room can know what we are discussing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have pending bills of 19 million, but there were no invoices, delivery notes, creditors control account, requisition files, etc. to support the balances.
Director. Yeah, Chair, the 19 million, it's true we have supported the 29 million, which is the employee emoluments. However, also in the schedule in the Annex 2, there is also a figure of 48,956,363 and 25 cents, which include employee emoluments and trade payables. And which if you combine if you add the two, if you subtract to 29, you'll get a 19 million. So we have
being asked by the Auditor General. The Auditor General is asking for invoices, delivery notes, etc. to justify your 19 million, not just an Excel spreadsheet.
Chair.
Auditor, did you ask for that during the time of audit?
Chair, we did, and that's why we realized that in our original financial statement in note 14, the trade payables were reading 29 million, which included employee payables, which now they have revised, and the trade payables, which means pending bills, now in their revised is 19 million, which have not been supported with invoices. And even looking at the schedule, there is no mentioning of the contractors or the suppliers who have done the deliveries. So we have not seen any support. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, maybe I know Senator Katai had asked this. You know, misclassification is what we call basic errors in accounting. Do you want us to still believe that you are a member of this tribe with good standing? Because if such small errors cannot, number one, the issue of misclassification, because those are basics. Number two, Speaker and your team, you know, audit is a process, it's not an event. There is the management letter, the entry, the exit meeting. Do you, this OAG, these matters, you raised it in management letter to the entity?
Yes, Honorable Member.
Yeah. So, Chicha, it looks like we are doing audit because if you're asking them whether requisition files were requested, invoices, delivery notes, creditors, control account, requisition files. So the question is, where are these documents, Director? Number one, the capacity and ability, because those misclassifications are very simple, and we used to have a representative from ISPA. Because that is our worry, because these misclassifications...
You know, Chair, it is becoming like some of these things are too clerical, right?
Yes.
It's not something that we're supposed to appear before this committee. Yes. But the director seems like he has just received duties. Are you sure he has been with the system all through, or he took a prolonged relief maybe to attend to his personal issues? Well, I thought maybe you must have engaged the auditors from the entry, the exit. These things should not even appear before the committee. Some of these things are too clerical.
So,
okay.
Then OAG, what was the fate of the retention accounts because of this entity? Did you cite them? Maybe be chair with your indulgence before the entity answers on my question and Senator Katai's question.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think there is one on note 15, which had the custom deposits, which they had not supported, but now they are supported by details of the contractor whose retention have not been paid.
So the only matter is this misclassification and provision of spending on invoices, delivery notes, and others.
Thank you. The issues are two different. The one for deposits and prepayment is not for 15, but this trade and other payables are very specific. The trade payables are those spending bills, which are in accrual is called trade payables, but in cash basis they are called pending bills.
So did they provide invoices, delivery notes, credit control?
They have not, because when you look at the first financial statement that was submitted, the trade payables was 29 million, which also included misclassified employee cost. In their revised now, the amount that they have now clearly indicated is 19 million, which they have not supported with the invoices.
Now, even this schedule, Speaker, this schedule is a problem. Under employee cost payables schedule, you owe the UDA party 209,000, isn't it? Is that the case? I'm assuming this is a deduction from members to the political party.
And they are deducted automatically.
It's deducted and you're supposed to remit it, isn't it?
Yes.
So these ones were deductions for June. That's why they're here.
Yes, for June.
That was June.
Yes.
So PV number 3802, 209,000 UDA party contribution. You have it under employee cost payables schedule. When you go to other trade payables schedule, should it appear there again?
That's why we are saying this one is all trade payables schedule. It includes the
employee.
Yeah, it includes the 29.
Yeah, but you should have separated the 29 and done a different schedule for the 19.
And that's
to make life easy and then provide the invoices.
I agree with you, Chair, that this is a minor issue that should not be here. And perhaps if you can give the director a day or two, we'll be able to separate and keep with all the invoices.
Yeah, because now you are causing us to do unnecessary work.
We are sorry.
Even in your revised financial statements,
you have not aged the debt. So we can't tell whether it's all current debt or some of them have been carried forward. I'm looking at your note 14, and it's very, very clear that you're supposed to age your debt.
It's not there.
So we are doing guesswork because you're not doing the right thing. So how old is your oldest debt? How old? Because under aging analysis, it's all blank. Because if these are things of June, then we don't even need to spend too much time, because we know in June sometimes there are delays. But if there are things that have been running for 2-3 years, then we have a problem. Unfortunately, we can't tell from your financial statements. So what is your oldest debt? How old is it?
Chair, it's under 1 year.
How do we tell?
In note number 14, trade and other papers. The trade papers of 19 million and 29 million all actually fall under 1 year.
But you should have indicated in your trade analysis. And you must pay...
This is why we started this conversation on professional responsibility. There are some things that are fairly obvious that we'd want to do. And I think let's take this as an exercise that will then push for greater seriousness in preparation of the financial statements, because you can't insist on high standards from the executive if the assembly has gaps in its financial statements. In fact, we would be happy as a Senate when all assemblies are up to date, when all assemblies have got unqualified opinion. That's when you now have the moral ground to hold the executive to account. So I think let's take this conversation as feedback. Let's take it positively. I don't know whether we should report your director to ISPAC at this point, but let's go through. But I hope you are taking note of some of the small things that...
I'm taking note of them, and we'll deal with it administratively.
Chair.
No, don't threaten him.
No, you have not even...
Just take the feedback, but don't threaten director.
Chair, now since the county assembly normally appropriates funds, the speaker through the chair, you need also to give us the payment plan, because if it is under 1 year, I know maybe you have done supplementary yet to do it. So you must give us, chair, as you give direction, to give us the payment plan of this 19 million. And make sure you pay UDA money. You know that's the ruling party, and we need a party to...
The one for UDA has been paid.
It has been paid.
Yes, that's
very
for
good.
the month
Well
of June.
done. I think my questions will end there.
No, I think what must be paid first are things to do with employees' benefits, SACCO, pension, and all those things. That should be the first charge.
Chair, we don't have...
Actually, he is not counsel for UDA.
Let me confirm that.
He is not in the list of the councils for UDA. He can't purport to correct levies for the party.
I think as a matter of emphasis,
because it's a debt, and Senator Sifuna knows that political parties are important.
As a matter of emphasis, the things like members, SACCO, members, pensions, members, those things that are personal, I think those in my view would rank higher.
Yeah, if you can confirm this for June 2025, and we have paid all of them. We don't owe any political party. We don't owe the pension schemes. We don't have any debt for them. We are normally prompt in that. And I'm sure if we have one member for Sifuna, we have two actually, and we have paid them.
But we don't see them on this schedule.
But maybe this you
can you demonstrate to us where that debt is?
Where is the payment to show that payment?
Because if it was June, then at least some 10,000 shillings would be owing to ODM.
Yeah, Chair, I wish that Senator Cherargei would show similar passion when squeezing money from small assemblies such as this one, when we demand that the National Treasury also pays us the money under the political parties fund. In fact, my argument has always been, if we had received all the money that is due to political parties under the fund, I would not need to go after my MCA in Baringo for 10,000 shillings The National Treasury owes ODM 12 billion Kenya shillings. 12 billion. But I've never heard you saying we should be paid that money.
Chair, I wish Senator Sifuna was in our NADCO meeting in KICC. One of your members, and I'm happy you are there, Chair, requested that the 12 billion owed to ODM must be paid, and I agree in total. So if you can find time to join some of this meeting,
no.
We will ensure 12
we want to hear the same pressure that you're putting on the speaker here should also be put on the National Treasury, because political parties as vehicles of democracy should be supported by all of us. You were elected through a political party, so was I. So we are not saying, in fact, when the political party's fund is properly funded in accordance with the law, it's not just ODM that benefits. In fact, the biggest share goes to UDA. You will not be hustling for money from MCAs in Baringo.
Yeah. Now, members, coming back to this, I think Speaker, Clerk, and the entire delegation, what is emerging is that you got some few basic errors, which if you would have fixed, then probably there would be nothing to report here. Yeah, you are just required to do small things, providing invoices, doing the right things as per the standard. Please improve on that, because it is not a must that you must come here.
You will confirm that when we were here the last time, we had some issues. Now we are moving. Learning is a continuous process, and I'm sure when you come the next time, we'll have unqualified opinion.
Yeah, we look forward to that, because
all the issues.
Assemblies should be unqualified. That's when you can hold the executive to account. But if an assembly is adverse, what can you tell the executive? If the assembly cannot do basic bookkeeping, how can you criticize and oversight the executive? So let's work towards that, so that this Senate deals much more with the theft in the executive. Okay, so let's proceed. We have seen the revised financial statements, but I think the issue of the invoices, those ones must be supported. They must be supported.
Yeah, we'll provide them. We'll within a specified period of time, we'll be able to provide them.
Yeah, I wish you had that evidence. So provide that to the Auditor General, so that when we are writing our report, which must be submitted to the House sometime next week, we can report that the 19 million is supported.
Very well, Chair.
Refundable deposits from customers. This one, Auditor General, is resolved.
This one is addressed, Chair. They have provided the support.
Inaccuracies in financial statements. Again, this is a matter of the depreciation charge tied to the discussion on assets that we were having.
Yes, Chair, this is resolved because of the adoption of the accrual. They need to have the exact value of the assets so that they are able to apply the depreciation. So we through your guidance, we can have a KIV, so that once they value the assets, they are able to apply the depreciation.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Fine. So we shall keep that in view. Now, when I look at the remaining issues, a number of them are policy, issues of compliance with the law, and some of them are things that will take progressive realization. So the only one thing, or one or two things that we will query, Speaker or Chair of the Assembly Service Board, is this issue of non-compliance with Assembly regulations on staffing ceilings. And then we'll look at the issue of payroll outside IPPD, and maybe something on ICT controls.
Chair, maybe before you move, I want to bring your attention, Chair, and I think Senator Kataya has been right. Because in unresolved prior year matters, the issue of inaccuracies in the financial statements is regularly, it's uglier again. So this is the next financial year and the same problem is recurring. So maybe, Chair, just maybe during, I think the Speaker should, I don't know whether it's capacity or systemic or something, because if you had, and I don't know, OAG Muriuki and the HAP director, you can notice the issue of inaccuracies financial statement is still a problem. So, Chair, and you know, financial statement is the heartbeat of the entity. So if we get it wrongly, inaccuracy in financial statements, it means we don't know how that entity operates. So maybe, Chair, that emphasis, the Speaker, who is the Chair of County Public Service, should take it seriously. And maybe Muriuki, I don't know.
Yes, Chairman, I want to...
Through the Chair.
Agree, yes, I want to agree that it is true. And we had an issue with the prior year matters, Because for that assembly, we had raised 17 recommendations in our previous year's report, and none of the recommendations has been responded to. Thank you.
Chair, sorry.
Yes, Senator Gata.
Chair, Director is restless. Speaker, are you still of the view that you have to take some manifestive action against the Director? Can you make him settle? Can you assure him that he is safe?
Let me confirm that we are not going to take, we'll take this as the chair has advised, that we take this as a progressive issue, advice, and how we are going to deal. Perhaps since we are all here, I'll tell him he has some 6 months or 12 months to clear whatever that has been said, so he's safe at the moment.
That is a threat.
I think we need to be clear that when we say administrative action does not mean sacking somebody, because administrative action can even be training. Yes. Administrative action can even be just a warning letter. So you don't need to go for the nuclear option.
That's the last option.
Yeah. So let it not come out from the Senate that we have recommended termination. No.
Chair, is the Speaker allowed to reprimand the officer in our meeting? Because that is what he has been doing. He should be careful.
I'm sorry, Chair, let me withdraw if I sound like a
action, Speaker, should also be documented. So when we'll be doing our follow-up, we will be asking you to provide documentary evidence. Yeah?
Yes, Speaker, let it have to withdraw. I think you have put it very correctly, and you said it could be even retraining. You know, you can spice up his capacity. Maybe it's not about sacking, it's not about worry, it's not about anything. So you have to withdraw, Speaker. You are safe. You know, you are going for a parliamentary seat, so you have to be a bit.
Okay, I was not aware of his political ambitions.
Chair, I think Senator Kayata is misleading this because we have had him telling the Director within 6 months. So, and Chair has directed that if he needs to take any action, including retooling, retraining.
That could be retraining.
No, I think let's leave that to the Assembly Service Board as HR policy responsibility, isn't it?
We have.
Yes. So
you are probably headed Chair.
So as a Chair of the Assembly Service Board, when we say administrative action, you've got different tools available to you, and perhaps it starts with building capacity rather than termination or threats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very well, Chair. We are properly advised, and we promise that we'll take all the staff through the proper mechanisms on handling some of these issues. Perhaps it's pressure and so many other issues. We'll do it from on our end as the service board.
Okay. I'm trying to look at your written responses to see whether we can take them to respond to some of these issues that are still outstanding, but I'm not getting very encouraged by the written responses. For example, the County Assembly staff complement is 124 against a ceiling of 100 employees. I thought you were going to provide some explanation there that makes sense, but you seem to have put in just a lot of English. If it was well addressed, you would have just taken the written response. Auditor General, can you read your finding and then we look at the response of the County Assembly?
Thank you, Chair. Under lawfulness, number 1, we have non-compliance with County Assembly regulation on staff ceilings. The County Assembly has 124 staff members, which exceed the approved staff establishment ceiling of 100 employees by 24 staff members. This overstaffing not only contravenes regulatory requirements, but also indicates lack of adherence to proper personnel management practices within the County Assembly. This was contrary to the guidelines set by the Commissioner of Revenue Allocation in letter reference CRA/4FA dated 28 June 2028. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
What was the management response?
Thank you, Chair. The County Assembly management is working towards meeting established ceilings to be in line with the guidance set forth by the Commission on Revenue Allocation in letter reference CRA FA/01 volume 2 22 dated 28th June 2018. For example, through utilization of available human resource whenever there are staff exits from service, e.g. through retirement, natural attrition, other employment opportunities, to attain the required threshold. This one, Chairman, I think since it's a recurring matter, before the review of the current financial year under review, we were beyond 124. And when the review was being done, we had around 124. But currently, as it stands, the County Assembly has 115 staff. And I think with the subsequent responses, I think we will be able to show that we have 115 staff.
Now, that narration is what we should have put here. That's why I was saying what you have put here is just English. It is that narration of how you have moved from 124, 125, 124 to 115 that is taken as evidence that you're doing something. Now, how verifiable is that figure that you have said you are at currently?
Chair, we can provide the payroll for last month. That's one that we can even provide that tomorrow, the payroll for the last 3 months to confirm the numbers.
Yeah, but you get my point.
Yes, I do.
That is the explanation that.
Yeah, and perhaps the only thing we can say, this is something that we inherited in 2022. We did not occasion as a County Assembly Service Board. And the other problem that we have is we have two categories of employees. We have the ones who we inherited from the county councils and municipal council. Then if we are supposed to retire, or the cost of retrenching will be expensive. But in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years, before 2020, before 2030, it will have automatically balanced itself. Because through retirement, if we don't do anything, through retirement, it will balance off by 2030.
Yeah, so please demonstrate. You have said the last bit of your submission answers the question. I think that's what now the Auditor General should be able to confirm, that the number is going down steadily, and then we can say that it's something that we can keep in view. Again, there is this issue of payments outside IPPD, payroll processed outside integrated payroll system. I was also hoping that your written response would address it, but it does not seem to address it. So, Auditor, can you read your finding?
Thank you, Chair. That's number 5 under lawfulness, payroll processed outside integrated personnel payroll data, that's IPPD. Review of the monthly payrolls revealed that the payments totaling to 6 million were paid on as wages and benefits to officers within the County Assembly outside the IPPD payroll system. Further, gross salaries totaling to 19 million were paid to ward staff outside the payroll from July 2024 to December 2024. No explanation was provided for the same. This was contrary to National Treasury Circular number 13 of 2019 dated 28th August 2019, which states that the allocation of personnel emoluments must be supported by IPPD, and each MDA will be required to provide this information to support personnel requirement. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the circular. Thank you, Chair.
Management response.
Thank you, Chair. The management has since ensured that all emoluments paid to employees of the Assembly are processed through integrated personnel payroll data, IPPD, payroll systems since January 2025 to date, as per a typed payroll list of employees.
If that was 2025, then that was during the audit period.
So, Chair, in Annex 4, I want to confirm...
Is that 2025 or that's 2026?
2025.
Since January 2025. And the auditor came to the county in September 2025 and still reported that you're paying outside IPPD? Auditor, January 2025, that's a period that you're auditing. So did this problem stop in January?
Chair, the report is as at June 2025, which means it was not addressed.
So Speaker and Clerk, I mean, it's a small thing. If you started in 2025, sawa. If it's 2026, you also just say, but...
Chair, we start in 2025 because I remember in 2020, we gave all our MCS deadline of December 2024 to ensure that all their ward staff and even they themselves cleared for their former employers so that we migrate to IPPD. And since January 2025, we have not paid anybody outside the system.
Okay, so Auditor General?
So perhaps it could be the period between July 2024 to December 2024. That would be the where we had some employees who were paid outside the payroll.
Okay, because I see the date cited here is from July 2024 to December 2024.
Correct.
So that could mean that you queried the 2024, the first half.
Yes, Chair.
So you agreed that that was the case, but now in the second half, everyone was put in IPPD.
Yes, everybody is in IPPD. In Baringo, 100% compliant.
How practical is it, including these people that MCAs hire in the offices?
That's something I remember because it was a fight. Most of the MCAs were saying we cannot comply, but we stood a service board and said we cannot be coming to the Senate to answer questions for payment outside the payroll. Some of them resisted, but with time they had to comply because we didn't have another window.
So even those employees are
yes,
in IPPD?
All of them.
Right now?
You can see, I can take you to the schedule for schedule Annex 4. Look at the salary for February 2026. I'll take you to the summary where it's MC and Speaker, we are 46. External board members, 2. Permanent staff, those are employees. Down I was telling 115. Contracted staff, those are the parts and staff for the Speaker, 6. Ward staff, 133. All of them are on IPPD.
When they are on IPPD, it means you are able to enforce minimum salary? Or it takes whatever salary you throw at it?
No, we were able to be ingenious so that when we were preparing the salaries, we were able to look at what was in the system and we advised the MCS to adopt those to be the salaries for them. But there's still a challenge. I agree with you that automatically.
So even this security warden 3, Mr. Andrew Kipruto Seur, entry number 302, where you are reading the summaries.
Yes.
Because I want to understand how you do it practically so that we can guide other assemblies. Speakers have sat there and told us that it's very difficult to do this for ward staff because a security warden, in reality, in a rural county like Homa Bay, Baringo, you probably want to pay them 15,000. If you pay them 15,000, they're very happy. But now when you bring them onto IPPD, you have to pay them the minimum salary for that grade, isn't it?
I think the problem is most county assemblies don't want to comply with the circular from CRA, where an MCA is only required to have 3 members of staff. For us, we complied with that, and if you comply with the 3, you'll be able to deal with it. Because when you take the 3, you'll have a ward manager, a driver and security. That's how you comply with it.
Yeah, because some MCAs, what they do is to split the money.
Yes, that's where the problem is.
10 people.
Yes, that's where the problem is, that you get 10 people pay each, and everyone them 5,000 or 6,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you strictly comply, it's possible to be in IPPD.
It's possible to be in IPPD.
So then I think, Secretariat, in terms of recommendation on this, because it's going to come up in other county assemblies, we'll take the Baringo case study it's possible that
you can tell them to come for benchmarking in Baringo.
Yeah, at least there'll be something good to come and see.
Yes, Baringo is number one alphabetically. We are district number one. We are still number one in so many other things.
Well, I hope your governor would also come before us and tell us the same. Because
tell us if he doesn't come, you can deal with him down there.
yeah, that one you should.
Do you think your governor will be comfortable for us to visit the hospital?
You don't need the invitation from the governor. You just need to write to us that assembly will take you to the hospital.
So when we come, you will accompany us to
yes,
go to
I'll leave in personal there to take you to the hospital.
Okay.
I think that that is assuring that you have been able to achieve that. There were I think there was something on assets. Assets is what we started discussing, the 374 million. And then there were a few issues on ICT controls, which perhaps we can, I'm hoping that your written responses are much more descriptive. The rest are policy issues, ethnic composition, Persons with Disability Act, 1/3 basic salary. We think we'll keep them in view. We'll take your written responses and make appropriate recommendations. I think my general observation is that if you guys were a little bit more serious on preparation of your financial statements, there was really not a big issue in your financial management. You just need to tighten your seriousness on financial reporting, your seriousness on responding to matters when raised by the Auditor General. You need to read these reports properly. You said you came with the internal audit team.
So we came with the chairperson.
Of the audit committee or the internal?
We do have both. We have the manager in charge of audit and the chairperson internal audit committee.
Who's the chair of the internal audit committee? Is this the one chaired by an outsider?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Chair, have you approved the charter, the audit charter, and is the function effective, or there are things that need to be improved?
Yes, Chair, we sat and reviewed the port charter and we have presented for approval and ready for implementation.
Has it been approved?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. So, because if you have a charter, if you've got a functional internal audit, department, then some of the things we are seeing here should not arise. I hope that next year the conversation is going to be different. That we'll be discussing how assemblies need to be strengthened, the laws that we need to change, instead of discussing small things around assets, things that could have been managed at the time of the audit. Also take seriously the contribution by the OAG that they sent to you a list of items. Just put it again on record, Patrick.
Thank you, Chairman. Arising from the report of this committee on the report of 2023-2024, we had identified 17 recommendations which were circularized to the entity. But as at this week, Chairman, we had not received a response on what the entity or what the County Assembly had done to implement those recommendations of this committee. So we want to call upon them to respond so that as we write the report for 24-25, and as we deal with the paragraph on prior year matters, then we'll have something to say. Thank you, Chairman.
Speaker, you need to give directions on that.
Thank you, Chair. The clerk informs me that she has responded to the same, but since it seems there's a problem in terms of the communication reaching from this side to Nakuru, from Kabarnet to Nakuru, then you can give us time, we facilitate, we can send through the emails or any other means so they can have a look at them.
Yeah, take it seriously.
Yes.
And see to it that your next audit report, it is not abnormal to get an unqualified opinion. That should be the norm. Yeah, so I can see that it's possible for you to get that. So please, let's see some improvement. I'll be very happy for you to be there so that you can be a point of reference even for the executive in Baringo. Unless there's any other business, Senator Baringo, any comment?
Thank you, Chair. And let me begin by saying I've appeared before this committee, not as a member, but as a senator from which county that this delegation come from. And I must appreciate this delegation from Baringo for showing up before this committee. It is quite encouraging. And for the records here, I'm told our governor has been summoned before this committee several times, but he has been disappearing. And Chair, as you have said, that you will use even the police to make sure that the governor for Nairobi appears before this committee. And I will wish you will also apply the same to Baringo governor so that he may be able to answer the questions before this committee. I'm quite impressed by the way these delegation from Baringo have organized themselves. They have handled the questions. That one is quite encouraging. The members of the public are following, and you've done a commendable job. Maybe to ask something about this paper of chairman's briefs on the reports on lawful and effectiveness in the use of public resources. And the number 2, about the non-compliance in the law on ethnic composition. And in the list it indicates that in Baringo Assembly you've employed 124 members, and out of 124, 100 come from one ethnic community. That means the 24 come from the rest of the ethnic communities in Baringo. And I wish to know if these employees you were inherited from the previous assembly, or they are the one you hired. And again, for the benefits of future, in Baringo we are about to employ our county service board, and it is my prayer that the same thing will not happen in the upcoming list of member of county public service board that you are about to employ. So I will wish to know whether this list of employees, were you the one who employed or you inherit from the previous assembly? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker?
Chair, before the Speaker responds, let me enter into the kitchen arrangement for Baringo. I know Baringo, when you talk of one ethnic group, are you talking of Samor or Aror?
I don't even know. It is how it is indicated in the list, but it comes from the one ethnic community. I'm yet to find out whether they come from Samor or Aror, because we have several ethnic communities in Baringo. And in the paper, it indicates that 100 come from...
Or the other team from Rabin. What do you call that team?
Lembus, they are Turais, and whatever. So I wish to know these 100, which community are they coming from? Because I'm interested in this one, because I also come from the smallest community in Baringo. Okay. So it is likely my community is among those who have been abandoned. In this,
the ones that are sharing 24.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaker.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start with the last question. That the 124 or the 102, the problem is that when it comes to classification, the Lembus, Samor, Aror are classified as one community, the Tuken. But in the reality, even the Turais, they are classified as Tuken. But in reality, they are distinct communities. If indeed we are supposed to be classified as separate communities, then we'll be compliant. We will be compliant because we have all the ethnic communities. We have the Turais, we have Keben, we have Pokor, we have Aror, we have Samor, and Lembus. And now, to come to the issue of when did we get this staff, since 2022, we have not employed any member of staff. We inherited this from the first and second assembly. And just to add that some of them were working in the previous or in the defunct county councils and municipal councils. And we are even asking, because we still have serious shortages in the assembly. We have some departments that are manned by one person, but we cannot employ because we have a problem with the issue of the plotted workforce, and we are still trying to request Senate that you kindly write to CRA and SRC to consider lifting the ceiling for county assemblies. Because if we don't lift the ceiling, it will reach a point where county assemblies may be crippled. And the other issue is, like personally as a speaker, each and every time I come here, I'm being asked the question, when are you going to reduce the number from 124 to 100? When I go to the Crown or Mashinani, they ask me, when are you going to employ? So I'm performing badly in Mashinani because I cannot employ anybody. Yet when I come to Senate, they tell me, when are you going to fire them? So I'm between a hard rock and I'm between two hard rocks, so I'm wondering what to do. Because if I become compliant with the Senate, I become unpopular in the Crown. If I go to the Crown way, I become unpopular in the Senate. So kindly talk to the SRC and CRA so that they also consider that. The other issue is the issue that Senate has brought, the Public Service Board. It's true that we are going to approve. Actually, tomorrow, on Wednesday, we are going to have this, to fed the selection panel for County Public Service Board. And part of the issues that we are going to tell them is to ensure that when we are going to appoint the 7 members of County Public Service Board, they ensure that we have all the communities in Baringo, including the minorities. Yes, because as a county, we need to be seen to be moving as one community and as a people, so that we don't have any other community feeling left out.
Thank you. And finally, through you, Mr. Chair, finally, you know, these people come from Baringo, and I know almost all of them. I can see my MCA from Eldamaravin, the clerk, the speaker, and the member of Public Service Board. And I know you are operating within the same circle with our governor. Please, when you come across him, anytime you meet him, you inform him that he is needed by this committee, and the committee is about to deploy police officers to bring him here so that he may be able to answer the question that is needed. Thank you.
Thank you for that emphasis.
Yeah, maybe to respond, the issue of oversight is a shared responsibility between county assemblies and Senate. And I wish we could have one discussion on this issue, that if they fail to appear before the Senate, then we can assist you to bar governors from accessing the offices, because you cannot get them. Then we can get them, we bar them from accessing the offices at the county headquarters. Then we'll be able to ensure that, because they will not have any other place to run. Because if Senate and the county assemblies are speaking the same language, then governors will not have a place to hide. Because they cannot hide in Mashinani, we'll be there. They cannot come to Nairobi because you'll be there. And that way, oversight will be done.
Yeah, we must.
Chair, I think the speaker has brought it so well. Eh? You can initiate even an impeachment motion under that arrangement, right? So when the governor fails to come and account for money that has been allocated to him, the primary responsibility of oversight lies with the county assembly. Right? We can always easily staple the evidence of the invitation and the summonses that the governor has defined to honor to this committee. Under those obligations, then you can initiate a motion of impeachment. Because if the governor cannot account for billions of money that is being given by the Senate, then you have no business as the county assembly not to. You have a lot of business as a county assembly not to make him appear before the Senate. I hope very soon we are going to see somebody initiating those motions of impeachment for the governor who doesn't want to appear before this committee. It's an obligation. It's not a favor. That's a constitutional mandate.
Chair, I think from where we are seated as a county assembly, we are not aware that our governor has refused to appear before this committee. But if the Senate can write to us formally, so we don't take it to be personal or a talk, then we'll be able to do something about it. If Senate can write to us officially that we summoned your governor on this day, we should summons on this day, he has failed, then I'm sure we'll do something on our end.
It's but it's an impeachable. It's an impeachable conduct. So when we do our report by 31st of March, we'll also list the governors who have refused to appear, and then the members of county assembly can take the necessary steps as dictated by the situation. So but for us to do so, the county assembly, your account should be clean, your report should be clean, and that's why. We are addressing you as a big brother without any friction, that we want you to go back and strengthen, tighten the small things that are causing problems in this report. Because if your hands are clean, then you can deal with the executive. But if you are also having problems, then you are all in the same WhatsApp group. So we look forward to an update in the next 60-90 days within the implementation time frame, and we hope that you'll have taken the necessary administrative action, necessary corrective action to ensure that the money assigned to the County Assembly is properly accounted for. Unless, Speaker, you have something you want to raise in closing before we adjourn?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the interaction with this committee. It has been friendly. We felt it's more of an advisory because, and I want to confirm that we appeared here in 2024, and from that interaction, we have reduced the issues from, at least for the first time, we confirm that the issues are issues that are more or less clerical, and which I'm sure from the advice that you have given us today, we are going to achieve unqualified opinion. Secondly, Chair, we have also progressed because in 2024, we didn't have unqualified opinions, but in some of the funds that we manage, through the advice from this committee, we now have unqualified opinion. So we know this is something that's achievable, that if we're able to get unqualified opinion in the funds, then I'm sure for this one, if we do that, if we rectify the issues that you have raised, then when we come before you next year, it will be unqualified opinion, and it's our wish as a county assembly, being the first county alphabetically, and being the district number 1 for a long time, we're also going to be the first county assembly to maintain the standards and have unqualified opinion. And finally, because I'm in the Senate, and the role of the Senate is to protect devolution, when I'm seated here, I feel that we are in the right place. It's our wish that you also consider extending or increasing the funding to county assemblies. In where I come from, we don't have enough seats, we don't have enough tables. I wish when you consider county assemblies, you also tell your colleagues in the finance committee to consider improving county assemblies so that we also have state-of-the-art equipment and boardroom like this one. Because at times, some of us, we do it under trees, at times because of shortage of funds, or a committee has to wait for another one to finish so they can occupy the same boardrooms. It's our wish that we be considered, because county assemblies, just to say that if county assemblies are strengthened, then devolution will be strengthened. And one of the ways of strengthening devolution is to ensure county assemblies are well taken care of. We also want to thank you for giving us autonomy. That's one of the ways of ensuring that county assemblies become independent and provide proper oversight. Thank you, and we wish you a nice afternoon.
Well noted, Mr. Speaker. We want to, and the President even committed that 450 billion will go to county governments. As the allocation increases, there should also be a proportional increase in what goes to the county assemblies. Because when there's more money involved, you require greater capacity to oversight, to plan, and to budget. So, and this is why we told one of your colleagues last week that we want a meeting with CAF. We want a meeting with SOCAT. There are a few outstanding issues, but we want to agree between CAF and Senate how to pursue some of these things. There are issues around ceilings for county assemblies. There are issues around the development taken by some county assemblies. When I was looking for your chamber in this asset register, your chamber is valued at 50 million. And I know there are some counties where their chamber is valued at 500 million. So you see that stark difference between counties. Think Kakamega are doing a chamber at almost 498 million. You are at 50 million. So we can have a conversation that as we increase money that goes to counties, we must also increase the money that goes to assemblies because there is much more at stake. So talk to your colleagues within CAF, the clerks, SOCAT. We had agreed that if you petition, there's a manner in which if you petition us, we can respond. Even this thing of subscription to CAF and SOCAT, I see it is not here. Maybe because you stopped. Or you didn't stop.
We stopped.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'd rather have, I think we had agreed that if you could petition the Senate, we could come up with a framework where county assemblies can contribute to CAF, but subject to audit by the Office of the Auditor General. Because that's been the problem, that you contribute, but the amount is not audited. We can come up with a framework, because I think there is sense in having SOCAT. There is sense in having CAF. So let's have those conversations and see how we can work together to increase your allocations and also to draw the line on what should be done exclusively by county assemblies and where the Senate can step in. There being no...
sorry, I forgot to recognize my senator, that, you know, this is the first time we're interacting with him in the Senate, and we want to thank him for being available, for guidance, and it will also help us because in each and every time we'll be meeting, you will be reminding us that you have not done this one, how far are you in the implementation, whether in a social function or any other function. It will help us to improve as a county. And we want to thank the senator for being present and always being available whenever we need as an assembly. And we wish him the very best as he climbs the ladder in the Senate. Thank you.
That's good. Is our last born. A good decision as a people of Baringo. The meeting is adjourned. We meet tomorrow at 9:30. We wish you safe journey back home.